Okay, it turns out I was wrong. In the previous episode, I thought that Hamas will just carry on, business as usual, terrorism as usual, the same, because they're used to losing their leaders. Yahya Sinwar was killed. The Israelis killed him. It's like 9 days ago. So I thought, hey, nothing's going to change because they're thinking this is a turning point and there will be a ceasefire soon. Well, it's been 9 days and there hasn't been a ceasefire yet. Hamas have not chosen a new leader, from what I can gather, but you never know. Maybe they've chosen a leader, but they, as they say, keeping stum about it. Can you imagine? Hey, Mohammed, you're the new leader of Hamas. Shh, don't tell anyone. Hey, Mohammed, what's that red dot circle in your chest? Let's face it, the second you're the new Hamas leader, your life expectancy, it goes down. Any actuarial scientist from Momentum, wherever, will tell you, hey, in fact, if you're the new Hamas leader, you probably won't be able to buy any life insurance. In fact, everything will go up. Your life will be difficult. Good luck getting your pager contract renewed or getting a new pager contract. Can you imagine? I suppose you know what, there's ways and means. You piggyback off your wife's pager contract. Who knows? I still can't get over the pager thing. When I heard the news that pagers had exploded, I'm 53 years old. I forgot that pagers existed. So when I heard the story that pagers were exploded, I was imagining this is a page. These are pages. That's what I thought they were referring to. My wife had to. It took a good 20-25 seconds to. Alcatel. Beep. Let me look at my pager. I forgot they existed. But not in their world, not in the Hezbollah. And I'm not 100% sure if Hamas used pages. But I'm taking a guess. So there you have it. So there's talk of a possible ceasefire, but I don't know. And then the breaking news: Israel have retaliated. And I thought they sent missiles into Iran. Because my wife and I were up very late. We're watching anyway, we're watching TV, and we see they were bombing various military facilities in Iran. And I asked my wife, do you think, are they flying jets, airplanes, and the airplanes do the missiles, or is it long-range ballistic missiles? And Bernice responded, it's definitely, she was convinced it's definitely missiles. Story I just read now, that it was fighter jets, Israeli fighter jets, flying into Iran, and they blew up various military facilities, some weapons manufacturing sites. So it was strategic. It was clinical. It was strategic to minimize any civilian casualties or any casualties in general. A cynic will say, hey, why didn't they do the same with Lebanon? But come on, let's be objective. Let's be fair. You can't compare Hezbollah in Beirut or Lebanon to the situation in Iran. Hezbollah, they don't have a special uniform. You can't, if you're going to attack Hezbollah in Lebanon, unfortunately, there's going to be civilian casualties. But having said that, lots of allegations and stories about how it has been very, very devastating for the civilian population in Lebanon, and criticism that this could have been avoided. I'm not a military expert, but I saw a missile hit a building, a residential building, in the news, and the building collapsed. That's a tough one. Speaking of which, I've been having the most annoying, frustrating WhatsApp message exchanges with an old school friend of mine. And it's been cordial, and he's very Zionistic. I'm Israel Chai, he loves Israel. Very emotional. Can't can't just be logical. And I understand. I understand where it comes from. So, but I'm willing to discuss. We can, agree to disagree and have conversations. But here's where it went completely insane. Something along the lines of the news is bias. First of all, the news is bias. Now, it's a tricky one. It's a tricky thing to navigate. Yes, I acknowledge no news is not 100% biased. Does that make sense? Okay, let's start again. Most news is going to be a little bit biased. So I'll watch Al Jazeera, and Al Jazeera will say genocide. So straight away, any reasonable person will say, Al Jazeera has lost all credibility because they're saying genocide. So they're making an opinion call. But that doesn't mean that the news stories. I mean, can't you filter? Can't you put on a bit of a filter and look beyond it? Okay, so just ignore okay, so they said genocide. Okay, we move on. It's still the story doesn't mean that their story is completely false. But here's the tricky thing to navigate. Like, when you say that the Western media or BBC, CNN, Al Jazeera are biased with regards to reporting on what is going on in Gaza, in Lebanon, in West Bank, how are they biased? Because the perception or the reporting that I am, what's the word I'm looking for, ingesting, or no, there's a better word, digest, whatever. The information that I'm taking in it's just facts, right? People are being killed. Infrastructure buildings are being destroyed. It's like they're reporting on it. So how is it bias? Bias comes in is when they're perhaps interviewing a political analyst, they're interviewing a particular journalist, and especially going back to the former. Yes, a political analyst has an opinion and an agenda, and they might have a certain opinion that is not 100% accurate and is biased. But that's an opinion, and that's going into the history, the philosophy, an explanation of how and when things are happening. So I don't base my perception or my opinion on that content. Because yes, that is open to your interpretation. But how can you use the word bias to negate or to refute that certain deaths are happening? Please try and make that make sense, because it doesn't make any sense to me. Doesn't make sense. Just think about it. I hope I probably haven't explained it that well, but you get the idea. So anyway, this old school friend of mine, I've been having this discussion with him. He lives in Israel, back and forth. He lives halfway Israel, halfway South Africa. I'm not 100% clued up what his story is. But he said something like, I just thought to myself, huh? You've lost your mind. Besides the whole bias spiel that he gave me, he then said, listen to this. Al Jazeera and BBC reporters are terrorists. Those were his words. I'll repeat it. Al Jazeera and BBC reporters are terrorists. At first I was shocked, but then I got relieved. I thought to myself, you know what? I'm off the hook discussing stuff with this guy, because now I can just say, hey, you've lost your mind. You got no credibility. You lost it. You lost it. So I don't have to discuss it with anything with him ever again, because really, you've lost your mind. Please, how can they're reporters? Yes, maybe the odd reporters, but come on, they terrorists? Gee whiz.